In October 2025, a soccer fan bought a Category 1 ticket to a 2026 FIFA World Cup match. He paid the highest price in his tier because he wanted the best seat. He was doing exactly what airlines and hotels have trained him to do for 20 years. Buy early, lock in the price, get rewarded for planning ahead. 6 months later, in April 2026, FIFA introduced a new category of seats called Front Category. They were the best seats in every tier. They were not available to him. His original ticket was quietly reassigned to a worse location. In some cases, behind the goal. He was not told. This is the first World Cup where prices went up for people who bought early, not down. And that broke something in how dynamic pricing was supposed to work. 4 state attorneys general are now investigating. They want to know if what FIFA built is a pricing system or a trap. Dynamic pricing was invented by airlines in the 1980s. The mechanism is simple. When a flight is far away, prices are low because the airline needs to fill seats and does not know how demand will land. As the flight gets closer and seats fill up, prices rise. The last buyers pay the most. The whole point is to reward the person who commits first. Hotels use it, Uber uses it, concert venues use it. When it works, both sides win. The seller fills seats they might have lost. The early buyer saves money for planning ahead. FIFA's version does the opposite. Between October 2025 and April 2026, FIFA raised ticket prices for more than 90 of the tournament's 104 matches. Prices in the 3 main seat categories rose an average of 34% after people had already paid. Here is the specific move that broke the system. In April 2026, 6 months after the first ticket sold, FIFA created a new set of seat zones called Front Category. These were the most desirable seats in each existing tier. Fans who had already bought Category 1 tickets, the top tier, were excluded from these new zones. Their seats were reassigned, sometimes far from the field, sometimes behind the goal, without notification. The Tech Times analysis of the joint subpoena put the mechanism plainly. Standard dynamic pricing rewards early buyers. FIFA's system penalized them. The New York City Department of Consumer and Worker Protection called this what it looked like: blatantly deceptive conduct. Legal experts have said the post-purchase introduction of front category zones could meet the definition of a bait and switch under U.S. consumer protection law. The primary market was one story. The resale market was a different one. For 2026, FIFA changed its resale rules. In every previous World Cup, resale prices had a cap. FIFA removed that cap. Then it made its own website, the only authorized resale platform. On that platform, FIFA charges 15% from the seller and another 15% from the buyer on every transaction, 30% combined. On a ticket, FIFA already sold once. In March 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice settled its antitrust case against Live Nation and Ticketmaster. That settlement capped Ticketmaster's service fees at 15% at Live Nation-owned amphitheaters. 15% total. On one side of one transaction, FIFA charges twice that on a single resale. On May 27, 2026, New York Attorney General Letitia James and New Jersey Attorney General Jennifer Davenport jointly subpoenaed FIFA. They demanded internal documents on ticket pricing and seat assignments at MetLife Stadium, hosting 8 matches, including the July 19th final. The New Jersey AG's public statement did not use careful language. Being honest about ticket sales is not complicated, but FIFA has turned buying a ticket to the World Cup into a gauntlet of confusion, fake scarcity, and impossibly high prices. Within weeks, California and Texas opened their own inquiries. The joint action across 4 states is the broadest consumer protection enforcement ever aimed at a World Cup. Multiple class action law firms have separately announced investigations focused on the Category 1 buyers who were reassigned to worse seats. Compare 2 numbers. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the cheapest final ticket was $603. The most expensive was around $1,607. At the 2026 final in New Jersey, the cheapest public ticket is $2,030. Category 1 started at $6,730. By April 2026, it had climbed past $10,990. On the resale market, some seats have listed for over $2 million. Football Supporters Europe calculated the cost of following a team from the group stage through the final, roughly 5 times what the equivalent journey cost at Qatar, 2022. This is not inflation. Consumer prices are up about 8% over that period. Ticket costs are up 5 times over. That gap has to come from somewhere. It came from a decision. If you looked at ticket prices for a match you wanted to attend and felt like something was off, you were not confused. You were not bad at booking travel. You were watching a system that had removed every reference point you needed to make a decision. You could not see when the next price would change. You could not see how many seats were left. You could not even see, after you had bought, whether your seat would still be the seat you thought you were buying. The opacity was not a bug. It was the mechanism. 4 things worth knowing if you are still trying to go. 1. FIFA's official last-minute sales phase runs at fifa.com/tickets. right up until 1 hour before kickoff. Availability changes throughout the day. 2. Resale prices are dropping as the final gets closer. Bay Area matches saw the cheapest resale drop 59% in the 2 weeks before kickoff. 3. If you already bought a Category 1 ticket and your seat was reassigned to a worse location, after April 2026, class action firms are actively taking your details. 4. The New York and New Jersey AGs opened a public complaint line for World Cup ticket buyers. Filing takes a few minutes. It is one of the few ways to add weight to the investigation. If this explained the thing that felt wrong when you looked at those prices, send it to one person who was or is planning to go. That is all.